Morning everyone, I think it's about 5:15 in the morning and we're doing the second leg of the Leicestershire Round. We're starting again where we left off at Woodhouse, Eaves, and it's about a 9-mile walk today, heading over towards Swithland and Mountsorrel before we start heading back. This walk has been inspired from the book, the Leicestershire Round, and we're going to sort of be doing this walk in like a little circular route. So each walk's going to consist of a roughly 9-10 mile loop, just to basically save on the travelling that lot. So we're now going to head off over towards, I think it's a Swithland Reservoir, something like that. So we're setting off down somewhere. I can't actually remember what it's called now, because my memory is terrible. But there's a lovely little beetle just there. I know that's going off slightly, but that's a nice one. But as you can see, I'm with Steve again today. The sun's just rising and it's beautiful. So you can see Leicestershire Round, public footpath to Swithland Reservoir. So heading this way. So once you're going down that road that I can't remember, you come to the field. You'll see some silos in front of you and a nicely clear defined path going through the field. You turn right and you head down towards here. Hopefully we're going to be lucky and see the old steam train, but I think we might be a bit too early now, but might see it on the way back. But as you can see, what a beautiful sunrise. Steve's prepared, he's got his sunglasses. Once you've gone across the first field, you come to Brand Lane. You cross over Brand Lane and enter the next field. It's still signposted the Leicestershire Round. Oh, it came across a muddy bit. This is unusual for the amount of rain we've not had. So a bit of mud. And this is literally after no rain for absolutely God knows how long. Ugh, God. Oh, it stinks. Just walking through the fields at the moment, as you can see, the crop looks like it's literally probably a week or two away. Not that I'm a farmer, but it looks like it's almost ready to be harvested. Leaving the village behind, the route heads across the open farmland towards Budden Hill, passing Rushy Fields Farm and its distinctive silos. This is a lovely quiet session where it's worth slowing down and enjoying the countryside. There's the silos just there and Rushy Mead Farm. Oh, just up ahead there, it looks nice on this camera, but it's actually a bit bleak. But when you've been walking past the farm, you come to this gate and you turn right and you're heading up here. But that looks a bit dark over there. The only problem about this time of year is everything's all overgrown. I've only got my t-shirt on, same as Steve, and got all these bushes and the brambles start scratching you. Thanks, Steve. Or stinging. Or stinging. But I'm not too sure. I think somewhere in front is the old steam train line, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. Just up there. Yeah. We've now reached Rabbit Bridge. Below us runs the Great Central Railway. Opened in 1899, it was the last main line built in Britain and formed part of the ambitious vision that hoped one day to link Manchester with Paris through the Channel Tunnel. The railway closed in 1969 during the beaching cuts, but thanks to dedicated volunteers, it's now Britain's only preserved double-tracked heritage railway. Hopefully, we'll be lucky enough to see a steam train passing underneath us. But I don't think that's going to happen now, probably on the way back. We're now heading up Kinchley Lane to Swithland Reservoir, which hopefully this time of day should be quite impressive. I wonder how old this stone wall is down here. This obviously looks like it's made out of Swithland stone. Same as everything else around here. But this is what I like about this time of day, the bird song. Yeah. And also the light through the trees is really nice, isn't it? Well, there's the boathouse. And some swans came over to say hello to us. What an amazing place to live. Just there, overlooking that. So I don't know what those woods are called. But we're heading down here now. Of course, I think this is a dam. Is it a dam? This impressive overflow weir is an essential safety feature of Swithland Reservoir. When water levels rise after heavy rain, excessive water spills safely over the weir, protecting the Victorian dam from damage. Although it looks peaceful today, it's a vital part of the reservoir's engineering, quietly doing the same job it has since the reservoir opened in 1896. This beautiful Victorian building beside the dam are part of the original Swithland Waterworks. Completed in 1896, designed with both practicality and style in mind. The housed the equipment needed to control and manage Leicestershire's water supply. Many of these structures are now Grade 2 listed, recognising their importance as part of the Leicestershire's industrial heritage. So the water goes down there. So the water flows down here, and as you can see, they mow the grass, and I don't know where it actually goes to. Where do you reckon that goes to, Steve? It's hard to believe that the water would come from there, down the weir, under the bridge, and out through there. That's an interesting gate just there. Be interesting to go up there, but I think you got one of the, in fact, I'm about to say you got a quarry up there, but there's one of the quarries just up there. This has to be one of the best views in Charnwood Forest. If the timing's right, we might catch one of the Great Central Railway steam trains crossing the viaduct over the reservoir. It's definitely worth waiting for a few minutes. But look how black it is over there. That's a thunderstorm waiting to happen. That's something you don't see all that often. Danger, quicksand, stay out. So we're not going down that way. Oh, that's a nice gate. That'd be lovely if it's all painted up. Running alongside the reservoir is Budden Wood. This ancient woodland has been shaped by both nature and industry. Granite was being worked here as far back as the Iron Age, when millstones were made from the local rock. Today, it's valued for its wildlife, woodland and unique geology. So once we get to the top of Kinchley Lane, we're turning left onto Swithland Lane. I actually thought it was right, but just up there you can see another sign. That's going to be for Mountsorrel. There's the sign there, Leicestershire Round, which takes us down Bond Lane. As you can see, it's signposted Stonehurst Farm Centre, which is well worth a visit. And there's a little bench if you want a break. While Wayne's not here, Steve's standing in. So you got what looks like an entrance here, 1840. Looks like a gate hanger there, and it goes across the road to that side. And if you look carefully, you can still see where the gate hangs, just there. So you think, that's a wide gate. It's amazing. But we're now gonna just go down Bond Lane. I came across a little bit more of the line. Don't know what this part is. It'll say on that sign down there. This ain't gonna be the Mountsorrel station, is it?
Yeah, okay.
And there's the tunnel just there. Can't quite see it. So as you're coming down Bond Lane, you'll see the sign saying Leicestershire Round, Public Bridleway, Mountsorrel, half a mile just down here. And all around this area, a bit like on the last walk, it's all mining round here. It'd be interesting to find something of some interest. We're now walking along Cufflin Pit Lane, the early granite quarries in this area. The quarry itself has long since disappeared as the landscape has changed, but the name lives on as a reminder that this peaceful countryside was once a busy industrial landscape with generations of quarrymen extracting the famous Mountsorrel granite that helped build roads and railways across Britain. Bit awkward here. You think you're going to go down there, but you see this post and we turn to the left. So I don't know if this is still Cuffin Pit Lane, but actually, if you follow Steve, he'll know the area. Well, as you come into Mountsorrel, we're crossing over Crown Lane. The remains of the castle ruins is just over there, but we're heading down this road at the moment. What's this road called? Well, Steve's got the map. Also, this is Woodland Street. And there's the signs there for the Leicestershire Round. So as you're coming into Mountsorrel, we're going down Woodland Street. This is a bit strange. You think of an old Roman road when you think of Woodland Street. That looks like the old schoolhouse, or probably a workhouse. But let's have a sneaky little look, see whether you can find a benchmark on there. Here's another butter market. The last time I saw a butter market was the one in Oakham. I suppose the name derives from the use that they used to sell butter here. Right in the centre of Mountsorrel stands the butter market, built in 1793 to replace the village medieval market cross, which dates back to the Royal Charter from 1292. Its elegant stone columns and domed roof once sheltered traders selling butter and local goods every Monday. Today it's a Grade 2 listed landmark, still marking the historic heart of the village, even if the butter has long gone. Oh well, we're just going to have a quick look around Mountsorrel, but this is actually where we leave the Leicestershire Round now and start heading back to where we parked the car in Woodhouse, Eaves. This looks like an old medieval cross or something. I don't know what this is all about, but it's got some nice carvings on there. In fact, that looks very like an Inca style, that does. Here is a replica of the 15th century market cross carved by Mike Grevatte in 1994 to mark the centenary of the parish council. The original medieval cross once stood in the Mountsorrel marketplace until Sir John Danver moved it in the late 18th century to his park in Swithland Hall, where it still stands today. A quiet reminder of the village's long trading history, just relocated when someone decided history looked better on his own lawn. So here's Mountsorrel Hall, very ornate. And you've got the church just here. As I stand in front of a car. Actually, we can't even look round, this is all locked up. Don't know whether they can actually... This is a sliding gate. Oh, look at that. That's not too bad. Never seen a sliding gate before on a church. So just gonna have a little look round here. No idea what this is. By St Charles Bears. Probably find it's somebody's house now. I'll have to find out what this church is called. It doesn't seem to be on my map, but it actually feels like it's somebody's house. Well, I've just found out this is the parish church of St Peter's. We're going to have a quick little look round the gardens, I mean the graveyard. There's some of the gravestones. So, yeah, 1760 that says. Make a nice coffee table. We've now had a quick look around Mountsorrel. It's a very nice place, a bit sleepy. Went to have a look at the church. There's not really a lot there to see, but now we're heading back and Steve spotted the sign of our route back. It's just near the butter market. It's hidden there by all the trees. So we're now heading up this path just up here, which looks like somebody's footpath. I think we'll follow the path round here, and this will take us up to the castle. As you can see, it's a well-kept path. We like the well-kept paths. Then we get up to the castle, be a perfect spot for bike to eat. In fact, you can see the old beacon up there. Few people realise that a normal castle once stood here on the high hills overlooking the village. Sadly, centuries of quarrying removed almost every trace of it. Now, you know, I like my folklore, witches and legends and things like that. There's an interesting legend around this area. Legend says a giant called Bell boasted that he could reach Leicester in 3 giant leaps on his sorrel horse. He mounted his horse here at Mountsorrel before making his first giant leap all the way to Wanlip. His second leap took him to Birstall, where both the giant and his horse were said to have Birstall. His final leap ended at Belgrave, where the exhausted giant died and was buried. Whether it's true or not is a wonderful old Leicestershire legend that survives for hundreds of years. Oh, well, here's the First World War monument. There's a sign saying, no loitering, sitting on the monument. So it's from 1939 to 1945. All those that died. So this is probably the area for the old Norman castle around here and up there. But now we're heading back. So after looking around the castle and Mountsorrel, on the way back we're going down the Naveen, heading down this way. And it looks like there's another church over there to have a quick little look at. Got the old schoolhouse there. Hopefully I got it on the camera from the other angle. But we're heading down here now. So after walking along Rothley Road for a little while, you come to Halstead Road on your left hand side. You turn left down here and it should take us, I think, to Mountsorrel Station or something along those lines. Leaving Mountsorrel behind, we begin making our way back towards Woodhouse Eaves. The return journey offers completely different views across the countryside. Well, as you're walking along Halstead Road, you'll see the signs for Swithland. We're heading to the village of Swithland, but as you can see, it's all been developed around here. Like, I think when I came around here last time, these houses weren't here, but we're heading down here. I think I've been to the village of Swithland. Oh, well, we're leaving Halstead Road now onto Swithland Lane. This is where I actually started, at the top there. If you wanted to, there's a little cafe just there, if it was open. But we're now turning left, and I think just down here, we'll pick up another little footpath. I'm not too sure, I'll have to check my map. There's nice little cottages, look like might have been old railway cottages. Don't know what that says on there. Can you read that, Steve? Newtown Cottages. So we're now turning right down the Ridings. I think this is taking us to Swithland, 1.5 miles, Woodhouse Eaves, 3 miles. So we've only got 3 miles left to go. So we're now coming up to one of the Mountsorrel line. So if we were lucky, we'd see an old steam train going over there. But unfortunately, we're not going to be lucky today. In fact, there's 2 lines over here. We've got this one, which I'm assuming is the southbound, and the other one, which is the northbound. Steve wants to know, no, if we can get an echo, oh. Oh, God. So we were walking up there. So this is the bottom end of Swithland Reservoir, which is another man-made reservoir. In fact, reservoir is a man-made thing, isn't it? No ideas of what's up there. We've got the North Lodge. That's a nice crest. But we should be coming to Swithland in a minute, just down here. And you've got the usual Swithland stone, which is synonymous around this area. And just up ahead, there's the sign for Swithland. Oh, we're just going to have a quick little look around St Leonard's Church. This looks like one of the better churches we've seen so far today. The rest have been a little bit either modern or just not very pleasing to look round. St Leonard's Church has stood at the heart of Swithland for centuries, with parts of the building dating back to the 13th century. Built from local granite that defines the village, it is surrounded by one of Leicestershire's most picturesque churchyards. Its peaceful setting and long history makes it a lasting reminder of Swithland's medieval roots. Oh, well, we can't actually get in St Leonard's Church, it's locked, which is a shame. The porch is always open. We thought, oh, the main church might be open, but unfortunately it's not. So we're going to have a little look around the church. Let's see if we can find the benchmark and stop for a drink, because even though it's a little bit cooler earlier, it's quite warm now. Oh well, there's the benchmark at St Leonard's Church at Swithland. As you can see, well, I actually can't see until I point the camera. Looks like they have an extension there, which is unusual for churches nowadays, and it's actually really tastefully done. Kept in a sort of similar style to the rest of the church. Well, that's a nice church. Let's have a little stroll round. As you can see, the graveyard is very medieval, isn't it? But I wonder how they got away with doing that. That stonework on here is lovely. You can see the layers of the slate in there. And now they pick up the stone. So this is actually nicely done. And this has got to be back to the medieval times. Probably years ago, this is where they came through here. Or it might have been a window. Some nice carvings. There's an old crypt. and the walls around here. I'm trying to walk quietly so you can hear the birds. Oh, this is interesting. I wonder what this is. Oh, so this is a medieval font. This medieval font, thought to be from the 13th century, was removed from Swithland Church in 1790 by Sir John Danver, the then owner of Swithland Hall. It was replaced by one we see in the church today. The medieval font remains with the family in Swithland before being taken to Melrose in Scotland, when the late 9th of Earl of Lanesborough moved there, having sold Swithland Hall in 1878. At his request after his death, the font was to be returned to Swithland Church. It has been in this present position where it stands now since 2016. Well, I'm glad we actually missed some of the churches, because this one's been by far the most interesting one, especially the medieval font around the corner.
Right hand side are the only light that would have come into the church in its day. The arched windows, the Gothic arched windows, you can just see the edge of one there, were obviously replaced along that wall. And then the south aisle, so that side, the Danvers family put in. The main window is theirs, and the organ is a Schnetzler, which is St Albans has an equivalent. So they had some wealth in their time. Yeah.
That's a small font compared to the one around the corner, isn't it?
It's a bit sad, really, isn't it?
Can't you get the old one put back in?
We decided against it just because of the size of it.
Yeah.
But have a wander around. Yeah, there's the hatchments for the Danvers.
Well, that's a rather fancy stained glass window. Yeah. I like the colour in here. Yeah. Welcome to the picturesque village of Swithland, one of the Charnwood Forest's most historic settlements. Built largely from local granite and famous for its distinctive Swithland slate roofs, the village has retained much of its traditional character. As you walk along Main Street, you're passing centuries of local history in a place that still feels much as it did generations ago. Well, that looks very much like what we saw in that farmyard. This is called Tower House. One of the use that, I tell you what, I don't know what I'd use that for, but I have to find a use for that. Oh, there's another memorial. The glory and the grateful, don't know, who gave their lives for the country in this great war. I'm sure they're turning in their graves now. We're just coming back into Woodhouse Eaves. As you can see, this is Swithland Road. And if you saw my walk last week for the first part of the Leicestershire Round, that's where we saw the old quarry there, and that bit that looked like the castle. But we're now coming into the top end of Woodhouse Eaves. So the car is about, I'd say, a mile, 20 minutes just down there. Okay, so we're now coming up Brand Hill. I think we came down, we came down here last time. So is this part of the Leicestershire Round? No, it's not, is it? This is part of the return loop, wasn't it? This is interesting. There's two stories. You got Steve, who used to store the milk churns on there, and Brian, where you used to mount your horse. So who do you think's right, me or Steve? Here's the thing that I usually like to find, the old village hand pump. This one's last used up until 1920. We did a walk the other day and I didn't even realise we walked past a hand pump. It's only when I looked on Street View and there it was. Anyhow, less of the waffle. And so another little village hand pump. This one's at Woodhouse Eaves and this one was used until 1920. Oh, well, that's stage 2 of the Leicestershire Round done. We basically started at Woodhouse Eaves, went all the way up to Mountsorrel, following around Swithland Reservoir and that lot. It was a really nice walk, had a look around Mountsorrel and headed back through Swithland, went to St Leonard's Church and back to Woodhouse Eaves. We've done a total of just over 10 miles, so I think that's about 5 miles off the route. So 20 miles in total and 10 miles off the Leicestershire Round, which leaves us another 90 miles. We're cracking on with it. So if you enjoyed this video and would basically like to do these routes, you'll see the description of the routes. You'll see the route in the description. So if you want to do that, just look at that and I'll see you again next time. Until then, goodbye.